Hi guys, if you want to study further but don't qualify for NSFAS, you should definitely consider ISFAP. Today we'll be having a chat with Sifanele from the Ikusasa Student Financial Aid Program, or what we know as ISFAP. We'll be speaking about ISFAP's 2025 application dates, how to apply, what they cover, and everything else you need to know about the ISFAP bursary. So stay tuned and keep watching.
Hi, Sifanele. Thank you so much for joining us. This is basically becoming a tradition at this point.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So you're not stranger to the channel, but you want to maybe introduce yourself to our viewers.
So I'm Sifanele Biyela. I am the Corporate Partnerships and Operations Manager at Ikusasa Student Financial Aid Program.
Right. Cool. So can you maybe tell us how ISFAP's funding for this year is going so far? Because I know it's an every year thing, so how's this year going?
So this has been particularly going very well. We've seen an improvement in numbers. I'm tempted to say it's the highest active student numbers we've had since our inception in 2017, with 940 students currently being supported for 2024, with some more confirmations still to be done for 2024. So we are doing very well, I would think, for 2024 in terms of our students that are currently funded.
Okay, that's really cool. And then what are you guys currently working on?
So I think with the timing of where we are towards the end of first semester, it's a lot of intervention programs implemented by our program managers, where we support the students in preparation for the exams, which is where a majority of our wraparound support comes in around this time. But also in the spirit of overall wellness, we're supporting our students. We are also nearing the opening of our applications for 2025. So a lot is going on parallel to us just supporting our students as it's closer to exams.
Okay, cool. I forgot to say, maybe you should give an introduction to ISFAP as well. I'm sure people know what it is, but just from someone actually from ISFAP.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can never get tired of introducing yourself. So we are Ikusasa Student Financial Aid Program, which is a non-profit organization. It's a foundation that supports students in their endeavor to obtain university qualifications in the fields that have been identified as occupations in high demand. So we were a child born from the Fees Must Fall movement, where a ministerial task team was then given an assignment to come up with a program that would address or attempt to address the big gap that exists in terms of the missing middle funding space. So that's what ISFAP is. We are funded by both private and public entities in terms of support that we give to our students. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So you mentioned that you guys are working on applications for next year, preparing for next year. So when will we expect 2025 applications to open?
So we go live on the 3rd of June, 2024, and will remain open until the end of October, where we will then close, because our second process when it comes to application then starts in November. So we will be running our applications from 3rd of June 2024 to the end of October.
Okay, and are there any requirements for anyone wanting to get an ISFAP bursary, or the specific courses that they need to be studying? How does it work?
So ISFAP is driven by occupations in high demand. We have a new list released in February, I think, by the DHET, that contains our 2024 list of occupations in high demand. However, having said that, we are also very funder or donor driven. in terms of specifics and requirements. So it's also largely dependent on the requirements that we receive for our funders in terms of the courses that we end up funding. So that's how the funding is structured. However, students will have access to which courses are funded under which universities when applications are open under our Apply Online website. So what we basically require from our students is that they be South African citizens. They have their indemnity form stamped by the commissioner. They have certified ID copies ready. So everyone who wishes to apply must just have that supporting documentation with them, but also have an idea of where they want to study, or for students that are already studying, make sure that your university is then on the list of the universities we have. And in those universities, make sure that the course that you want to apply for is then also listed under that university, because that's what we then use to finalize applications and allocations when we do our confirmation of funding. So that's just basically what they need to have in preparation for the application season.
Okay, cool. And then how can someone interested in getting a bursary apply for one?
So we run our applications purely online. What will happen this year, because we are venturing into something new that we're very excited about, which is opening applications for postgraduate students as well for 2025.
Okay.
So what we will have this year is 2 links. So there will be 2 links that will be on our ISFAP website. They will then transfer the students to the different Apply Online websites. One would be for the undergrad students and one would be for the postgrad students. So the links will be available on our website from the 3rd of June.
Okay, so they can apply so postgrad students can also apply from the 3rd of June.
Yes, so we will be running the application process simultaneously for both undergrad and postgrad this year, at first for us as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. So what does the ESAP funding include?
So it's our structure has tuition built into it, accommodation, living allowances. We then have we have textbooks, we have laptops. So how we supply all these is based on the budgets, the funding available from our donors, as well as the caps which we apply annually to the different pockets that we make available to the students. So I always get questions from students wanting to know how much. And me telling you how much 2024 is not going to help you for 2025, because those caps are assessed on an annual basis. So we just cover those pockets. And then what we pride ourselves in, and what is our secret sauce, as our CEO likes to call it, is our wraparound support that we make available to the students, where they then, outside of academic support, they're able to get mental health support, they're able to get social skills, they're able to get study assistance. So besides just paying tuition, we try and support the students on a more well-rounded structure that ensures that even if there is something happening in your personal space, there's a safe space you can use to then offload that, which would enable you to then be able to focus on your studies and improve your chances of then progressing to the next level.
Yeah, that's really important that you guys are doing that, because it goes along with studying and it actually plays such a big role. And I mean, yeah, you obviously need to also keep up a certain academic standing to continue getting your funding. So that's very important. Yeah.
Yes. That's very, very important, because we cannot inject just money into your life and not be cognizant of the fact that you come from a family that you are faced with issues outside of just school, and we need to be more aware of those in our support of our students, and also in us trying as much as we can to meet our objective of having our students complete their qualifications in time, which then makes space for the students that would be next in line for an opportunity.
Yeah. So, I mean, you pretty much gave some very good reasons, but why do you think students should consider ESAP when they're looking for funding?
I think if for a sense of belonging is what we try to provide for our students, a safe space where you are supported not just financially, where your mental health matters, where if you need guidance in terms of tutoring and mentoring, there's that space, but also a program that recognizes that we, as much as we are trying to have qualified individuals, we need people who are able to thrive in professional environments. And those skills are sometimes not things we are born with. It's things we gain from experience. It's things we gain from exposure. And we avail those opportunities to the students to say, here's a soft skills class on communication, on time management. Here's a tutoring class that has everyone who shares that struggle with you. Or you sometimes find that there's someone who's doing so much better in a maths course, and someone's doing so much better in an economics course, and they're able to feed off each other. So providing that community for them is also one of the things that I think makes a difference and an impact in their lives, and sort of improves their chances of completing their studies as well-rounded professionals, as the World Economic Forum would like to call it, because we are moving towards a landscape that requires individuals that are not only technically sound, but also empathetic towards the people they work with, understanding of the different social backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. So I feel like we groom or instill those skills that make you an even better professional for your future employer, or even if you want to go to into the route of entrepreneurship, you are more resourced to be able to sustain the relationships that you then build in a professional environment.
Yeah, and ESAP really recognizes that there's a human behind that bursary. It's not just you giving money and that's it. It's like looking at it from before they even start studying to when they hopefully are graduating and heading into the next job. Yeah, that's really cool. So you mentioned postgrad funding, and I know this is a fairly new thing for ESAP. So how has it been going with providing postgrad funding as well?
So it's been, I mean, with new territory, we are all on sort of a learning curve in terms of the needs of postgraduate students. But what is certain is there definitely is a need for funding in the postgraduate space, and we are appreciative of the funders that have indicated an interest in funding students towards their postgrad qualifications. It's been going well. We've onboarded our postgrad students. They are getting support where they require it. We also appreciate the support that we've received from the NRF, where we've collaborated with them to then just assist us in terms of a few processes and how things work in the postgrad space, because they have more experience than we would in that space. So it's going well. It's something that we foresee progressing and the numbers increasing. So this year we have our, how can I put it, our biggest cohort when it comes to postgrad students that we're currently supporting, compared to the scale at which we ran our pilot, which started 2 years ago. So there's definitely an improvement, and there's a bigger call for support for postgraduate students. So it's definitely a response that was necessary in the market. And yeah, we're hoping that we get more donors that want to then support students in this space.
Yeah, it's really like you said, and like you said, it's a massive gap that needs to be filled. And I mean, the fact that ESAP not only looks at missing middle, but as well as postgrad as well, it's just an amazing thing to do. But it's definitely a tough thing to do. But the work needs to be done. So, and if anyone's going to do it, ESAP's going to do it.
So let's charter those unfamiliar territories whilst everyone's watching.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's fun times. It's fun times. It's learning times. It's also growing. I see it as an opportunity for growth. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but we are in it for the long haul. As long as we have funding to support it, we'll definitely respond to the call for it. Yeah.
So speaking about missing middle and postgrad, so Nestus also announced that they would be covering postgrad students as well. So what does ISFAP think about this? And do you think it's going to be enough to fill the gap? And how is ISFAP doing the work to bridge the gaps of missing middle and postgrad?
So it's a space where the need is big. It's a material need, and we must be in a space where we appreciate all the effort that goes towards bridging this gap that we have that exists for missing middle students. And any effort from our perspective is appreciated. It's a really massive gap. We are all just trying to do as much as we can, as much as our pockets allow, to close the gap. And therefore, it's interventions are appreciated. And as ISFAP, we've made sort of made it very clear that we're fully in support of whatever intervention that seeks to close the gap. Where there's a need, we are also available for support. If they need it, should the organization need it, we're available. And I think to say, is it enough to close the gap? We don't know, because we produce more matriculants than we can support every year. And that makes the gap even bigger. So we are basically chasing a moving target, which makes it difficult to say, will we ever be able to be in a space where we close the gap? We don't know. But what we can do is be collaborative in our efforts to try and then work together towards closing that gap. And whoever the intervention caters to will then jump at that opportunity, and we move, because I feel like every impact is a worthy type of impact. It doesn't matter how small or how it comes dressed as long as it meets the objective, or it helps us to chase the objective of closing that gap of the missing middle. It's appreciated.
Yeah. So speaking about Nestus, we know that there's been a lot of issues and challenges and a bit of chaos that's been brought to light. So as an organization which also provides financial aid to students, what does ISFAP think about this? I know you guys have said that, like you just said, you guys are there to help. But what has been your view as a fellow financial aid program on what's happening at Nestus?
So I think what we must always keep at the back of our minds is Nesfit plays a critical role in our tertiary education landscape in the country, and its success not only impacts the students that they support, but it impacts us as a country. And therefore, we must all strive to support them to ensure that the program runs as smoothly and as efficiently as it possibly can. And we then remain steadfast in saying where we can support, we are available. And yeah, we just, it's one of those where it's an important organization, it's an important institution, and as ISFAP, we fully support its objective and are therefore available at any point if we can offer any assistance, but also to sort of recognize that outside of the noise or the chaos that's happening, the objective of NSFAT as an organization is an imperative one. And if we all work collaboratively with understanding to ensure that it then dispenses or it does what it needs to do as efficiently as possible, it would help us all as a country. So not just as an organization that's in the same space as it.
Well,
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating, such a frustrating situation, but they have a very important job in it. It can't be easy. So
Definitely.
yeah.
I mean, it would be easy for us, from the outside looking in, to pass judgment from what we've seen in the media. But I feel it's important that we recognize the objective and the underlying impact and the underlying drive that we're all moving towards a space where we support the missing middle, we support poor students, and we therefore need to be as supportive as possible in terms of them achieving that objective as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. Okay. Moving back to ISFAP. So you guys do, well, it's a dream for you guys to provide funding at all 26 universities. So when you think you guys will be able to do that?
So we try. We are, like I said, very funded driven. So also very occupations and high demand driven. And it's always been our wish, it's always been in our plans to then be available at all the universities, all the public universities in the country. And we are working towards it, and funding allowing, we hope to ultimately reach that goal of being present at all the universities. However, we have made progress. I think we've made significant progress in terms of where we can be found. And I think let's wait for the 3rd of June for then everyone to see how our list looks compared to last year. But we are making strides in that area, and we're hoping that with sustainable funding and continued funding, we're able to then be present at all the universities, because everyone needs support. We don't want it to seem as if we are targeting certain universities and excluding others. It's in our plans. We would like to be present everywhere. How reality of funding also means we need to be realistic in where we find ourselves and how we plan to implement the project or the program. So we are working on it. There are definitely improvements. And you can just check on our websites when we open apply online.
Okay. Then moving up as we see. That's great. And last but not least, how can anyone wanting to support ISFAP through donations and partnerships and funding get involved?
So I wrote this down because I don't want to get the numbers wrong. So we have 3 platforms where donors, individual donors, entities who wish to support us can find us or reach out to us on. We firstly have our email that's dedicated to potential funders and donors, which is partners@isfap.org.za. So you can send us an email there. We also have our landline, which is 010-880-0400. Maybe I can repeat it, 010-880-0400. So that's our landline number. If you wish to speak to someone, it most probably will come through to me. So you can use that number. We are also available to answer any queries or take on any collaborative requests on our WhatsApp number, which is 072-617-8072. So that's where our potential donors and funders can find us if they would like to collaborate with us in our support of our students.
Let's get that. Let's get the money. Let's get back. Let's get
Yes,
students
please.
funded. Yeah. Is there anything else you want us to cover in this interview?
No, I think like I say every year, we are in the business of changing lives, but not only students' lives, because these students come from families. These families live in society, and we must never forget the impact and the role that we make in their lives. And we must always just strive to do better in our support of them, to make them future citizens that we can be proud of in the professional environment, to teach them empathy, because we also instill in them giving, because there's no way you will disregard giving when so much has been poured into you by people that have never met you. So it's impactful work that we do, and we hope that whoever comes across ISFAP, whoever is impacted by it, whether a student, parent, organization, may they never just forget the role that they play and the change that they're making in the students' lives, families' lives, and society as a whole.
Yeah, it's really important. Thank you so much for your time and for always sitting down with us and chatting, and also for just helping us bring light to the amazing opportunity that ISFAP funding is. It's a gap that needs to be filled, and you guys are filling it. And without you guys, I don't know what the higher education space would be, the students week. It's just such important work that you guys do, and I know there's so much heart behind what you guys do. So thank you.
We try our best 1 year at a time, and hoping that the next year will be better than the previous year. So thank you so much.
From what you're saying, we're about to be surprised by the progress.
Yeah. So we do our best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching our interview with Sifanele from ISFAP. This is an amazing funding opportunity being offered by ISFAP for anyone who wants to study, so be sure to take advantage of it and apply as soon as applications open. And also be sure to tell anyone you think could benefit from this about it. To find out more about it, head to our website www.careersportal.co.za. Comment down below what you want to study, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.